Hi everybody. I know it's been a while since I've been on here and I've seen you. I haven't been uploading. I have a few videos that I need to actually edit and put up, but I've just kind of been sad and down. I've been hiding something from you guys since about November, and it's not something I'm comfortable talking about because I'm really sad and just kind of down about it. I don't usually talk to people when something like this happens. I don't take these situations very well. You know, I would love to just keep this from you guys and go about my life like nothing happened, but this is something that I have to tell you guys and everybody. It will make me feel better later on, it'll make me feel better now, and it will give you guys some peace and closure. What I'm getting at here is we've lost a member of this family and a member of this YouTube channel. So about in November, I had gotten my puppy Winston not too long before this, and I honestly knew that Rorio, my cat, wasn't gonna be super happy about Winston, but I thought that maybe he would get over himself and they would play and love each other. So what I'm getting at here is that I rehomed my cat Rorio. It's not something I really did last minute. It's something I have been wanting to do for a really long time. And it's not just because I got Winston and I said, oh, okay, well now I have this puppy, so I don't need this cat anymore. It's not like that at all. So basically, I got Rorio when he was a kitten, and he was 10 weeks old. And as he grew into an adult cat, he had these problems. And I feel like, yes, you can blame me because I raised him, and I'll get a little bit more into detail about his issues. But basically, they were issues with Rorio that I had no way of guessing that he was gonna have these issues when I got him. So I was basically planning on rehoming him because of these issues for a while now, but there have been so many times where I was gonna rehome him and then I backed out last minute. Like I had an appointment to surrender him to a shelter once, and like an hour before I went, I just started crying and I said, I can't get rid of him. I love him, he's my baby. So let me just talk about what brought us to this situation today. So I have always envisioned myself owning a dog. It's something that I've always wanted. I felt like I can't be complete without one. And I also kind of feel that way about a cat too. I always envisioned myself with a cat and a dog. And when I had the opportunity to get Winston, it's the right time in my life. It's the right dog. I have all the time in the world to train it right now. It was the right time for the dog. The cat Rorio, he was an impulse purchase. When I got Rorio, I was living in a really small one-bedroom apartment that didn't even allow cats, but I got him anyway because I just love him so much. So anyway, so Winston came into the house and Rorio basically gave him a grace period because I have had animals here for time, and then they move on. So Rorio was probably just giving me a chance to get rid of him. But then he, after a couple weeks having Winston, he started peeing on my stuff and pooping outside the litter box. So basically, I can tell a cat shit from the dog poop because it's so much bigger. Because you guys have seen Winston, he's really tiny, he makes really tiny poops. So basically, I cannot afford to replace things that get ruined. If you've ever like had a cat urinate on anything, it destroys it. So basically, he was peeing on some of my possessions. My favorite jeans are gone. Now, I can't really afford to replace things. So basically, I decided to make an appointment for Rorio to go see the vet, just in case he was having some urinary tract problems, because I'm like, okay, he's 3 years old. I've never had a problem with him, so let's just take him to the vet to see what's wrong. I have a rule in my house where if a cat pees out of the litter box, it goes immediately, but Rorio, I had him for so long and I've never had any problems with him before. So I decided to give him the chance and bring him to the vet. So the day I made the vet appointment, I also made a post on Craigslist to rehome Rorio. I know that's not like the most ideal place to rehome your pet, but I kind of know what I'm doing, and I'm like fairly responsible person for the most part. So I rehomed him in a way where I didn't just give him to the first person who wanted him. So as I was waiting for the vet appointment, I was talking to this lady, this really nice lady, and a couple other people, but this one woman really stood out to me. And basically, she followed the rules. The rule was you have to keep in contact with me for the whole month that I'm waiting for the vet appointment, I basically, when I wrote the ad, I mentioned all of his problems. I did, because you have to be honest when rehoming a pet. You don't want to like rehome a pet who has like, you know, some quirks and then just let the person find out. You have to be honest when you're rehoming a pet with issues. So basically, Rorio has problems with food. I mentioned it before, but he's obsessed with stealing food. And I blame my friend Destiny because he never went after food until she gave him a peanut butter ball. And as soon as she gave him the peanut butter ball, he was obsessed. Like, he would bite through bags and chew through containers and like open boxes of pasta just to eat the dry pasta, and he would like lick dishes in the sink, and he would even try to steal food that he doesn't even like. You know, he had his cat condo, he had his own personal space, he had toys, you know, he had a lot of stuff, but he was just so obsessed with food. So it's something that you honestly have to be honest. And, you know, I was really stern in the ad. You know, he can't become obese. You can't let your cats become obese. That's wrong. So I found somebody who was trustworthy and responsible, and I talked to her and I met her and all this other stuff. And honestly, I did lie about why I was rehoming Rorio. I told the lady I was rehoming him that I was pregnant. I am not pregnant. I'm not. And like, as I was dropping off Rorio, she was all like, oh, congratulations, they grow up so fast. And I'm just like, oh, thank you, we've been trying to conceive for a long time. And I got in the car and Brendan just starts laughing because it's like, he's like, why did you have to do that? I don't know why I did that, I just did. So basically, I rehomed the cat because he was not adjusting to the dog. Okay, I did. And, you know, Rorio would go up to Winston and do his little tail shake and swat, which is aggression. It is. You know, he would just try and steal things from Winston just because he didn't want anybody else to have it, and It was just becoming not fair for both animals. So I honestly would have tried harder to make it work maybe if I hadn't been considering rehoming Rorio for so long. You know, one of the main reasons I wouldn't rehome him is because I feel a lot of shame in rehoming an animal. It's really heartbreaking, and I feel ashamed of myself and like a failure. Because, you know, when you get an animal, you're supposed to want it forever. You're supposed to take care of it for its whole life, but not everything works out. And And I was afraid that people would blame me. And honestly, people are blaming me. They're saying that I'm a bad person because I rehome my animal to a home that would be more ideal for him and his needs. Personally, I feel really hurt by the situation. I cried a lot when I rehomed him that day. I was in tears. I looked like a maniac because I had been crying so long. And nobody even considers oh, maybe it's hard for me. Maybe it's hard for B-Rye to rehome her animal. Maybe I'm sad, It's just I just feel like it's not worth keeping an animal if it's messing with your real life in real ways. Another thing, whenever I would be making food or eating food, I had a large sized dog crate, and I would have to put my cat in the dog crate because my apartment is so small. I really can't do anything else with him. He can't, because he's constantly attacking the food, and I have a gas stove and I don't want him to catch on fire. So I would put him in a dog crate when I would be eating and cooking. And I feel like that's not fair. The person he went to has a large enough house to just put him in the other room. I can't put him in the other room because he'll destroy the rug next to the door to try and escape. And I really can't afford to lose my security deposit and all this other good stuff. In our last apartment, he destroyed the rug so bad you could see the concrete floor from him just trying to get into my room while I was eating. He's a crazy obsessed cat. Even if you feed him a whole can of food before eating, he would still try and steal yours. He's obsessed. He's crazy. I love him so much. He's the most affectionate, loving, soft cat in the world. And you know what the vet said? The vet said that his health was phenomenal in a good way. He's so healthy and he was great. So when I found out he was healthy at the vet, I decided to go through with the rehoming. I said, if he's sick, I'm not going to rehome him because I would understand the not using the litter box if he wasn't feeling good. So he was healthy. So I decided to go through with the rehoming. And I'm sad. Usually, when I rehome a pet or they pass away, I delete all their photos from my social media and from my whole life and pretend like it didn't happen and they didn't exist because it's so hard for me to cope with that kind of stuff because I have grown up with a lot of loss of animals and it's just always been embarrassing and shameful. So I really don't want to dwell on this. I don't want anybody to be sad. I don't want anybody to hate on me either because Rorio is so happy now. He has a new cat friend and these two older children to play with. And he's just living his best life and I could check in on him whenever I want to. That's the thing about rehoming a pet. You're gonna want to be able to get updates on your animal when you rehome them. You're gonna want to find somebody who's willing to give you updates on how they're doing, because that's my child. I raised him. So, I did the right thing. I was responsible. I guess you could see it as I replaced my cat with the dog, but this rehoming has been a long time coming. So I just kind of want to talk about, because I said I would in a previous video, I want to talk about how I got Rorio and just kind of talk about the good times in his memory, So basically I had been plotting behind my fiance's back to get a kitten for about a month before I actually got Rorio. I was on Facebook one day and I had a little bit of extra money in my pocket and I saw that somebody on Facebook was selling kittens for $50 each. So I message them and I say, hey, can I get a female, please? I'll just take any female kitten that you have. So basically I went to the home, and it was a woman and her children, and there was a little girl, and she was crying and carrying this beautiful white spotted cat, because that one was her favorite. That was my baby. They thought it was a girl. So basically the girl was crying and carrying him around, and I said, don't worry, I'll take care of her. And I got in my car and I sat there and I looked at this beautiful little ball of kitten in my lap, and it let out the most precious baby meow, and it had blue eyes, and that was my child. So I called my best friend Evan up on the phone and I say, hey, I need you to meet me at Walmart. So I go to Walmart, and I didn't tell him, but I walk into Walmart and I have this screaming little baby kitten in my arms, and he's all like, oh, you got a cat. So I'm in Walmart and I have the baby cat in my arms, and I'm buying all the supplies, and I get home and I find out the kitten is actually a male. And I liked him a lot more after that, because I prefer male animals just because I feel like they're more loving. So basically I had a Magic the Gathering pre-release to go to that night. So I had my friend Evan take Rorio to his house, because I didn't want to leave the kitten all by itself the first time. So basically at like 2 in the morning I call Evan and I have him bring the kitten to my house and like lock it in my bedroom while I'm on my way back from the pre-release. And I'm just like, so Brendan, I have a surprise for you when we go inside. And when we opened the door, he heard it. He heard the kitten meowing. And so he goes in and he starts like crying, like, you got me a kitten, I love it. And he's like crying and he's like loving the baby cat, and I'm like, what are you gonna name it? It's yours. And he's like, I'm leaning towards Oreo, and I'm like, you can't name it Oreo because Destiny has a rabbit named Oreo. So basically we settled on Rorio, and he was just great, you know. Very cute, very beautiful cat, very loving. He would just let you pick him up and like touch his feet and all this other good stuff. He was just perfect. And as he grew, he became more and more awful. And I guess it could be my fault, you know, the way I raised him maybe. But like I said, you never know an animal's personality until it's like out of the baby phase, kind of, you know, what it's gonna be like. So I really recommend, you know, adopting an adult animal if you're a beginner like me and you're just like starting out owning animals on your own. I really recommend adopting an adult cat so you know what you're getting into, you know. So yeah, that's the story on how I got my baby cat and how he's gone. And I don't think I'm going to be getting another cat for a really long time, just because I feel a lot of loss. My house is empty, a lot emptier now. You know, he was great, and I still love him a lot. But I just know that I did the right thing in rehoming him. It'll be better for both of us in the long run, you know? So, yeah, I know it's kind of a lame video, and I'm gonna come back to uploading really soon. I just really needed to get that off of my chest so that, you know, so that we could both move on. And I hope y'all are doing great.